Hi Anchit, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
My God, sorry. So I was saying something like, what did I do? I just created a copy for day 3. Started off like so. Whenever I was creating the copy, I had that front end directory, and in the front end directory, front end directory is dedicated to our front end server, right? In here, I already had the in node modules. So what I was I saying is like, if we consider a situation where you have submitted your you have made the front end with Vue CLI, and you thought to Vue CLI as in the CLI methodology, and you have submitted the project on project into the portal, right? And whenever you are going for your vivas, it might be the situation that your proctor might ask you to uh, get the zip file and run it from run the server from there. Now the thing is that, how do you you won't be having node modules after you unzip the whole unzip the zip file. Next thing, decompress the zip file. Then what you have to do is you have to locate your terminal to the correct directory, like however you have made the project structure, right? According to that location, you have to take the terminal, and next thing is npm install. I might have said that the other day, but repeating it again. And then on one more terminal, what would I do? I just start my backend server and let it run. Okay. Okay. In here, it is done. Next thing, there might be some older packages and all, and because of that, I was getting so many warnings, but it's fine. So both the servers are running fine. Next thing, what would I do is, let me check how the server looks right now. Okay, this is what my front end structure is. Let me do something. Let me remove that H1 text. So that's a clean page. Next thing, we'll start off by doing. Okay, let me see one thing. So we had the test page, right? Test view.p. In here, if you remember, I was getting the print data from the backend server, right? So what was that? Let me just go through it once. So we started off with the page where it was very simple and we had every data in here. Next thing was like, okay, I had this, I had this input field, and if I write something over here, firstly, I started off as, it started doing, even it's still there only. No worries, no worries. So what was it doing? Like if you open up the inspect window and stay in the console, so if I write something over here, for example, my name, that's Anshul. And if I click on print it in console, what did it do? It printed whatever that was added to this variable. If you remember, there was a variable that was test data, right? It printed the test data into the terminal. Okay. Next thing, as of now, the front end is like totally separated from the back end. I haven't done anything to attach both the servers. Like So for to just to do it, let me think of it in a way. The in here I have what it is login and all I have right. Hmm. So I have all the APIs and let me do one thing. This hello world wala API is like it's not protected as of now. It's empty and it is returning me a string. Let me start off with this test page only. Then I will go for the login page. Right. Now the thing is that if you see, it's showing test page. So what I want to do is whenever the page is getting rendered, or else let's use the similar idea. I would have one more button in here that is after this uh, button do something. Do something. So what I want to do is whenever I click on this button, it should send me a request over here in this API and it would return it a string, right? So whenever the string is being returned, what I want is I want this h1 to be gone, or at least the h1 should be changed to hello world instead of this test page, or something like uh, somewhat like I want some change. Okay, that is what I want. Now, for that to be done, if you remember from the theory lectures, we had that fetch, right? So that we can make a request, we can formulate a request and send it to the uh, server or to an API, right? Now, whatever response that the API is responding with, we can accordingly you can handle it. Now, the thing is that either you can use fetch or there are some other packages too that you can use. I'm going for Axios because it's like in fetch, what you have to do, you have to manually write down so many lines, right? And you have to configure it thoroughly. But at least for Axios, it's a bit less. So that is why I prefer Axios. Even it's easier for like I don't say very easier or very beneficial, but yes, you can opt it for you can go for fetch. Nothing. Like I won't ask you to use Axios. It's a totally choice that you want to make. Okay. So not only for this Axios, but if you are opting for to like using any other packages, it's similar how we used to install that Python libraries. It's same. It's like you have to be in the current directory where the directory is having the node modules directory. So right now my terminal is in the front end directory, and within the front end directory I have the node modules. In here, what I have to do is npm install, then the name of the package. Right? It's Axios, and for the time being, let's see. So here's the package.json, right? And from here you can see here are the dependencies that I have: Core.js, Vue, and Vue router packages. Next thing I want to install it over here, like install Axios too. So what I want to do, I want to run this command, and you will see one thing that it was updated over here. So it's not the same like in Python where we have to manually rerun it every time whenever you are or we are at least adding something else to our uh, virtual environment. But it's like at least for Node, it's auto generated, so you do not have to do it. Next thing, I will be using the library. So what I will be using the package. So what I want to do is after script or within the script tag, I want to do the import Axios from Axios. Okay. Now, what did I do is like uh, I could have done something like adding or importing the library how I was like how it is done for the other, and I could have kept it in a JSON config file, and or else in a base file where I would have defined the uh, server address and so many stuff. Right? I could have done it, but I'm not doing it. Rather, I'm keeping it as generic as it could be or as simple as it could be. Okay. What I want you guys to do is, if you want, go through, or else please go through the documentation for Axios, right? And even there you'd find so many other ways that you could have done it, right? So I'm not going into that as of now, but using it in the most basic rudimentary way that one could do it. Okay. Now, in this method, let me name it as do something method. What this method does, let me try with this one. Key, if I could do it. So what do I want is whenever I click on it, this dot do something should be triggered, right? Save, and in here, if I like the same functionality as printed in the console. For example, my name. Do something. Yeah. Do something with the thing. Next thing. Rather, I don't want this. What I want is to send a request to the backend. Okay. So how can I do it? In here, what I have to do, I have to use Axios. Right. After that, there are three parts. If you again consider this, whenever like so, what's happening is there are three parts in here. One is that we are making the request, or like we are formulating how a request would be looking. Next thing would be next two things would be how it is responding. So there are three parts whenever a Axios request is made. Again, it's not only for Axios, even for fetch too. There is a part where like the first part is to or will represent that you are generating a request, like how a request is being generated. Next thing is how the API is responding. Next, not only the next thing, but the next two things or the rest two things is representing that. And how is that? The first would be like I can show you that. For example, I'm doing a get request to that location, right? So that's how a request will be made. Next thing would be then. Okay, then, and the last thing would be catch. So three things. This is for the request, and this is for the response that I'm getting back from the API, right? So I kept the then block. So if the API is responding correctly, be it a 200 code or be it a 300 code, in that case, it would go in this then block. That is, it is responding correctly. Everything that I like, whenever I made the request and the request was successful, then in that case, the response will be something as 200 or 300, like the HTTP status code. In that case, it would go to this then block. Okay. Else, whatever situation is that, it would go into this catch block, considering that there was an error. Okay. Let's see how we can do it. So something like a get in here, I will just write the address local host 5000 and it's slash like the index location. That's a get request. I am just making a request to the endpoint, nothing else. Next thing would be the then block. Okay. So in here, it's like whenever we are going to the then block, whatever is the response, I just want to create it into like I just want to add it to a variable and then I would be using it. So it's like response response and response the data. So or else see, I'm just searching status. Okay. In a similar way, we can do it for catch too, right? That's that I would just like to change it from error. Okay. Okay. Let's give it a try. Now, what will happen whenever I click on this button? It would run this method. I'll just trigger this method. In this method, what I want is let me do something more to consider. Next thing, it is using Axios to make a request to the location localhost 5000 and slash basically the index location at the server. Next thing, we are expecting a response back because the server is running and the API will respond. Like it's a promise meant by the API that yes, whatever is the situation, it will respond back. So as of now, we want to see that how it is responding back. Either it is going to the Ben block or the cache block. If everything goes fine, then I expect it to go to the cache block. Okay. Now let's see if I press do something. So what happened? Do something was called and like it got triggered. Next thing, it tried to send a request to localhost 5000, but it was blocked because of CORS policy. So what is that? So if you search for CORS policy, it's like cross-origin resource sharing policy that it restricts one server to communicate with other server. Okay. So what is happening currently? Previously, even if you see previously, whatever we do, we are like using either using the browser or using Postman to communicate with the backend server, right? Even I can show you that. This is the simple GET request. If I want to do it from the browser, it would respond back. 5,000. See, I'm getting hello world, but I'm not getting it for this whenever I was making a request from the server. So what is happening? Because previously, till the last time, whenever I was interacting with the API, it was the end user, it was the end client, right? Uh, that was trying to communicate with the API. But right now, what am I doing? I am on the browser, but whatever screen that we are seeing is through the front end server, right? And now whenever I clicked on this do something, it was not from me. So the backend server didn't get a request from me, rather it got a request through the front end server, right? Through the address 8080. Even you can consider one thing, the uh, server address was different, right? If a request was made from the series, that is 5000 series, then it would have responded back. Even not the series, but it should have been a same address. Then also it could have worked, but not right now. So what I have to do is I have to add one Python library over here in the backend side. That is it. What I want is pip install flask cause. Okay. Now with this library, I can make it happen. My backend server would be responding back to the front end server. So from France, I would be importing the cost method. Next thing in here, I can like define. how or to which endpoint or to which address it should respond back. I'm not doing it. I'm like keeping it active for everything. Okay. But what I want you guys to do, similar to Axios, you go through the course library, okay, and check it out and make it something like the it should so that it should respond back only to the front end server that you are making. Okay. Okay, let it be there. Next thing is I would give it a try again. See, I haven't added a change to the front end. Rather, the backend server was restarted. And the front end server is still the same. Okay, even the logic is same in test view. Right. I just click do something again, and you would see that it is responding correctly now. And what did I do? It responded. The backend API responded with 200 status code. That is why we are seeing it over here. It is saying that response HTTP code 200. So what happened? Whenever a get request was made, I got a response back, and it came to this then block. Okay, response HTTP code because it was responding in that way. For example, if I change it manually, see, uh, is it? It's here, right? So I didn't add any status code for this. But what if I want to add it manually? So for example, 400. Add it. Restarted the server. Front end server is still the same. I'm again clicking do something. Now if you see what's happening, it is going into this then block. Everything was going fine, right? That a request was made and the response was again made back like it like the API responded with a response. But what did I do? I added a code, right? And the code series is 400. Now instead of going it in here in this then block, it is going to this catch block, and because of that, we are seeing this error code. Okay. Anyways, I will just fix it up. Right. So that server got restarted, and now instead of seeing only the status code, let's see something more too. That is console log. Here's the response. Okay, let's see. I just want to see the total response. So there are so many things that we can get from the response. Let me clear out the console and make the request again. So here's the full response. So there are so many things like config, data, header, request, status, and status text. Right. So from here you will be using it accordingly. So to make it useful as in the status code and stuff. Okay, we'll be checking that within few minutes. But as of now, you consider this. Whatever was the response, whatever was the data, like whatever that is in this return statement, be it a string, be it a JSON object, be it an XML object, be it anything for the time being, right? It would be added to this data field. So it's like if you see, what did I do? Previously, I printed what? Response.status. If I had printed response.data, then it would be like it would have printed the string hello world, right? So whatever that is in the return statement, it would have been added to response.data. Okay. Be it a JSON object, be it anything, it would be added over here. Then you can go through there are multiple configurations and all header and next thing is the request status and so many things. Okay, go through it if you want. But what I want to do is I want to have a variable over here after test data. Response data, right? And it is set as null. What I just want to populate it with the response data. So this the response data is response.data. That is this one I'm indicating to. So whatever is added to this data will be also be added to this response data, like the view data field. Hmm. Now let's see. Let me have it over here. Let me print it over here. this dot response data, right? And give it a try, refresh and do something, and you'll see that hello world was printed over here, right? Next thing, what I want is let's use something like there are two more things that I will be adding over here. One is the life cycle, view life cycle. Another one is v if, right? We haven't seen v if or even v for, right? Like view if and view for. Let's see v if once. In here, after this functionality, what I want to do, if I have something in this data field that is response data, what I want, instead just ending with the functionality, I want to add this key functionality and Vue.js and backend functionalities, for example, or Flask functionalities. I just want to show this too. And after that, I want to add something over here. See, it should be something like this. Hello world. Okay, how can I do it? Let's see. Now, here's the thing. I could have done something like this. And instead, I could have added it over here. So it would have looked something same. So if I do something, then it would be like hello world. Okay. But I don't want that. Rather, what I want is that I don't want to have the spaces, even that dash 2. So how can I do it is like either I could have done as span, right? And even I could have added it over here. Okay. In here, what I want to do, see, as of now, if I still keep span, it would be adding that dash, right? But instead, in the span, what I want is v if this dot response data, like if there is something in that response data variable, then only do so. See, it's gone right now. So because the page was refreshed, right? And if I click do something now, you would see that it was added. You can do something like that. Or else there is one more way, like a similar idea, just that a bit different. I want this and task, like and flasks, right, to pop up only and only when I click do something. So what would I do if is like this would show when mm, I guess this format isn't working with it. So what am I doing is like it's like similar to the Jinja if like the structure would be same but not totally same, right? And not this if, rather it is a bit if. Okay, we can as of now we can like use a similar idea. Let me build other pages. Then, if I remember it, if I remember the format correctly, then I will just showcase it over there. So what I want is and flask. So you can see it got changed. Now the thing is that the next thing would be, see, as of now, what am I doing? Whenever the page is getting created, it's like empty. Next thing, whenever I click on do something, then only it is like making a request to the backend, and it is like adding the whatever changes that we have requested for, like or we have set for. Next thing is, instead of doing it in that way, do you want your user to come in and press a button, then only it will be like populating, it will be populating the page with the data? No, right? So whenever the page is being requested or whenever the page is getting rendered, the thing that you want to see is you want to populate the page, and then only use like the end user wants to see that thing. Like there could be some situations whenever the servers are not responding correctly or whenever the servers are not working correctly. In that scenario, even too, you have seen that the pages might not have been loaded very correctly. Like I'm not like it's not like that. Whatever that I am doing right now, I am just adding the string, but instead uh, there would be a simple template for the page, and it would have loaded successfully, but the data won't be there. It would be having some pop-up that yes, there was an error, or something like an message that would be shown that there was an error, please refresh the page and retry it, or something like that, right? So what is happening in that case? The backend server could not be reached out, or at least the data server could not be reached, right? Right now I want to do the similar idea. That is, it's not a similar idea as into showcase how that server address is not reached or something. Rather, what I want to do is, whenever the page is getting created, what I want is to run this do something method. Okay, how can I do it? Is using by using view lifecycle, right? Over here, what am I saying? Like there are so many life cycles if you remember. So, so there are so many created, before created, then before mounted, so many things. Right? You can go through it, but as of now, what am I doing? I'm just using the created one, created lifecycle. That is, whenever the page is getting created, it should do something, and it could start off by doing something as console log, test view created. Right? Next thing, this dot do something. I'm running this method. Okay. Now let's see in this page, and let me clear out the console and give it a try by refreshing it. I refreshed, and you can see the test view was created. So basically, whenever the page is getting created, it will every time whenever the page is getting mounted, okay, or rendered or re-rendered for the thing, it would go through all the life cycles. Then only you'll be seeing the page over here. Right. It starts with before created, then it comes to created, then it's before mounted, then it goes to mounted. Right. So that is why if you see the flow, what's happening, this test view created thing popped up in the console. Next thing, it came to this do something, and in this do something, I had that uh, do something wala console log that is on line 636. It got printed, and finally, it printed out the status code that is from here line 40, and on 41, it printed out the response. Okay. Now I will just comment this to down and let the errors be there. Okay, we'll be seeing the error. right now. Uh, okay. Okay. And even I don't need the button, right, as of now. Or I could have kept it. But anyways, I don't want to have the button. So button's gone. And as of now, the page is getting fine. Page is entering fine. How I expected it to do. Next thing is, let's see the error stuff. Right? It's not totally same, but it's almost same. Just that the structure is a bit different from the response. Okay. So just to go to the error block, I have to add it at the 400 while the status code to that. Okay. Sorry, there was an interruption in my Wi-Fi, and that is why I got disconnected. But what I want is, if I refresh now, I'll be getting that error, right? This is what I'm saying. And if you go through the error, it is similar, but there is something more. If you see, there is that code, then there is message and other stuff. It was not added. It's not added, right? So what you can say is that similar to the response, like response has status text, header, configuration, right? So those are added to this key. That is response. If you see response, all this was there previously when it was responding correctly. But right now, what is happened is whenever you are going for an error, in that case, it's like added to this response. Okay, as a key, not the total object. Okay, we'll be checking that out. I will be showcasing this in a bit, but as of now, it's like in this format. Okay. Next thing, let me just go for that login page. Okay, and then I would make the so make the dashboard. Um, so similar to test view, I would just create a new page, name it as, for example, login dot view. Okay. So what stuff do we need is template tag, then the script tag, and I'm not doing styling, so it's like I don't need it right now at this point of time. So here's the div tag. As I said, it's a good choice to do. That is, I would add the class to it, something like what login page. In here, I just want to showcase H1 tag that says login page so that I see on the screen login page. Next thing I want to have is have the fields. So I'm keeping it another in other div tag that is login form, right? In this div tag, we have one more div tag. So the class is like email field. If I use it in here, I have the input tag that is set as email. Placeholder could be like the registered email. And I'm keeping it to an required field that you cannot proceed without adding this. And there could be a level to it. For example, level for user email. So you need to add the ID. And in a similar way, I just want to add the password. Password field. This is the password. Data types is set to password and ID is changed to user password. And this doesn't require a placeholder, right? And this is changed to password. Okay, so here's the password and the thing. Let me try to render it out through the page, like through it starts with the path. It's like class login. Okay, today showcase one. This name, upon else, get a new strong. Okay, so if I go to this login page, I will see that yes, I am seeing. And it could be okay, something like this. So what I want, I can fill the fields, and for that, if you remember, I need to do it like I need to uh, write down the fields, okay, like the view data fields. For example, let me just put the name, login view. Was that email, right? And you attach this over here, the P model, this dot q and V model, this dot password. There's something more, and I have made an error. Okay. Structural error. Mm, okay. Oh, that's fine. So I have the fields. I attach the fields with the data fields, view data fields. Next thing, what I want to send a request to the login input. That is starting from here. So let's have the methods. Um, for example, it's like named as login function. In here, I want to again use Axios. So I haven't defined it globally, so I have to import it again. Axios from Axios, and it's a post request. Now, thing is that if you remember, the login post request is like it's like set as uh, to accept JSON object, right? How can I do it? We'll be seeing that too. But before I proceed any further, let me do something with same way what I was doing response. Oh, right now. I'm just console logging the total response. And in a similar way, I will just add the catch block. Okay. This is what I want to see. Next thing is within this, let me have a button. And what that button will do is like say login, and whenever it is clicked, V on click. I want to run this method, that is this dot login function. And there's a problem. Structural problem. Yeah, that is okay. Let's see if I can do a login. I haven't done anything from the backend. Backend is like totally unknown to me as of now. And I just added something and let's try it out. So most probably the password is admin only. Let me check from here. Password is admin. Okay. And if I click login, what is happening? It is like method not allowed. That is because I might have used post. Yeah, I have used post, but there is some error. Okay, no worries. So it says method not allowed. That is because I am sending the request to 5,000, not to login. Okay. Now let's try. If I try with admin at the rate abc.com, admin login. Now still it says that's unsupported media type. That is because it requires us to send a JSON object. Okay. Now how can I add the JSON object? If you see in here in the post wall part, you see that it starts with a address. Next thing I would add a comma. In here with this, I would write email to be this dot email and password the similar for this dot password. Okay. Now the thing is that I don't have power at my side and it might die. Okay. But I would request everyone to stay back. Now let's give it a try again. Login, and you'd see that there was the response back. So as of now, from the backend side, I haven't done any change. Okay, how whatever it was, I just changed it. Like I just configured the front end so that a request could be accepted, or request could be made, and we can accept the stuff, right? So you can see that in the like the from the past page, I was seeing this stuff, right? The configuration, header, request status, and whatnot. But the data field was only having that string. But right now, the data field is like the data key is having a total JSON object attached to it. If you see it over here, so there are all the keys, that is auth token, message, user email, user ID, user role. So how can we do it? Like how can we use it? So what you have to do, I will be using, if you come to this application and you will see that there is local storage. So what will I do? I will store the local token in this local storage. There are n number of ways and more secured ways to use or save the token, but I am not doing it as of now. Okay. Rather, I'm keeping it as simple as it could be. So I will just save it over here. How can I do it? We'll be seeing that, but yeah, we'll be seeing that in here. Rather, I won't be uh, printing anything on the console. Rather, what I want to do is I want to save it to the local storage, right? So local storage. It's like local capital storage dot set item. Right? Set item, and I have to pass two things. What would be the key, and for that key, what would be the um, data, right? So let's do something like auth token, and the data is coming from response dot data dot auth token. Okay, let's give it a try. If everything is going fine, admin at the rate abc.com, and the password is what? Admin login, and I guess login. Acha. Oh, auth token. Okay, at the rate abc.com, and again, and let's stay in the application. Okay, I'll click login, and you will see that it popped up. So auth token was saved for in here. So from here, we like whenever a next request will be made, we'll be like requiring this token to uh, be added when a request is made. So from here, from this local storage, we'll be using this token. Okay. Next thing, I won't be only be saving the auth token, but there are so many things, so many other things. It's like user email, and I want to see. Let me. Let me print it on the console so that I can see all the keys. Right. Even response got data also can see. Login. And this is the JSON object that was returned from my side. So user email, then user role, and I want to save the user ID. Okay, 4 things as of now. I'm saving it in the local storage. And I only save it whenever, let me add a if condition. If response dot status is equals to 200, right? If everything is going fine, then only I would save this. Or else I can add a else statement over here. Else alert. Like there would be an alert that something happened, some error happened. Okay. That could be coming from response dot data dot message. Wait, 1 second. Yes. Now let's see. That is possible. And I also want to do something else. After login, okay, let's give it a try. Okay, if I could save this, I could do this happen at the over here. If I click login, you'd see that everything was added up. Okay. Next thing, in the console, I'm printing the object. That is fine. I don't want to print it over here. Rather, what I want to do is, whenever everything is added successfully to the local storage, what would be the next thing that you want to see or that you want to expect from a login page? After you are done logging in, you want to get redirected to the home page. Okay, how that could be done is by, again, we'll be using the view router. That is this dot $view $router dot push it to where, push it to slash us to in the index page. Okay, let's see, let's give it a try if that is working fine. So admin at the rate abc.com, admin over here. If I click login, if everything is fine, then I will come to this index page. Other thing is that if you see, what did I do? Within posts, I just added the like I hard coded the address, right? Instead, what can I do is, I don't remember if I have said that in the previous day or not, but there are the names, right? Name for each route that you can define. How can we use that? For example, I want to use this. So what did I do is, I just copy this name wala thing, go back to the login page. In here, there's the post request, right? What would I do? Within curly brackets, I would just add it over here. And that's it. Is remove the quotes. Okay. And we are done. So save this and give it a try again. So it's like login admin at the rate abc.com and password be admin. Login. And we are here. Right. As of now, there was a simple redirect. Next thing, what I want is that Okay. In here, in this button, wala second. Let me add one more button. It's like we on click. What I want is it should redirect to register page, and there could be a register page, new file, or else I can just copy the register, copy the login file. Okay, paste it and you can like rename it to register and do the changes over here. So it's like so wherever there is login, there will be register. So in the registration wala endpoint, what fields do I need? Here is register. So what I want is the email, password, and username. There is one more thing. Username. Let me do it in a bit. Before that, let me check if everything is set correctly. Register new email. Okay. Set item stuff won't be here. Rather, this would be changed to home to login. Okay. After registration, I would be like logging in. Right. It should be 201 most probably if everything is going fine. Yeah, 201. Okay, there is one more thing. Let it be 201, 200 only. And we'll be seeing that. And this is the text. And from the router, I need to declare an endpoint. Okay. Now let's see if that is possible. So what I want from the login view, whenever I click on this button, it should redirect. So this dot router dot post to name what register. Okay, let's give it a try. So I'm on the login page. If you click on register button, it should be redirected to the register page. Okay. We are in the register page, and the similar thing would be for here to key. Whenever the button is being clicked, I would redirect to login. Okay. In this register, I would just register a user. So this will be the username. That's not username. And did I attach everything up? Okay. Yep. Everything is in place and it looks good. Let's see. Right now, what will happen? Still, the registration would be successful, but it won't redirect to login page. And why is that? We'll be checking that out in a bit. But for example, what users do I have? See, in the user table, I have till user. So user 3 at the rate abc.com, and the username be user 3. Password be user 3 again. And if I click register, you will see that there was a message that popped up that the user registered successfully, but it didn't redirect. That is because of the status code. Okay. So what was the status code was 201, but in this I kept it to be 200. Okay. So this checks are needed to be done. See, there was an else part, like it been to the else part, and it showed the message. I just change it and give it a try with user 4. So user 4 at the rate abc.com, user 4, user 4. Register, and you'll see that I came to the login page. Now I can log in with user 4 credentials. And it is working fine. The thing is that, so here's the register page. Okay, I made the login page and I have the token. Okay, now let's see. For the other endpoints, I'd be using the token. And how can I do it? In app.py, here are the two things. Okay, then here is the query data, right? And query data would respond me with no data found. Save data, update data. Okay, test one. Let me do one thing. Let me add some endpoints. In model, I just want to add this table. Okay. And I would just go ahead and explain you, but before that, I just want to add this, right? And in routes, see, I have used routes, right? It again use the same thing, routes. And then after PY is just the endpoints. Okay. So similar to this, routes dot category, what category specific and category resource. API slash add resource. In this format. Let's category. Yeah, I think looks good. Let me just restart the backend server and it won't start because I need to add something. And it is done. Okay. So what am I doing is I added two more tables. I said in the first day, that it is day 0, that there is a problem statement that grows as the grocery store, right? So from there, I just got a field, right? And it's like the category table, and there's the product table, right? From the category table, you can find the ID, name of the category, description, status as in like you can keep it as a Boolean thing. Next thing is created by, updated by. Created by, updated by is like the user IDs who created the who created or updated that specific category, right? And created and updated, that is like what time it was done. Finally, there is a delete. And why is that delete is this? Because whenever a category is being deleted, I don't want it to be deleted totally from the database. Rather, it could be like I would be using this as a check. Whenever it is set as true, it won't be like adding it to the front end, or from the front end we can like remove it. Okay, something like that. Adding a check. Then there are the products, like I declared a relationship in between them. Then after that, in this class, in this category class, I have defined few uh, methods, okay, within the child methods. The one is serialize, the one is get all, and finally there is admin delete. Okay, I could have added more, but as of now I'm keeping it till this point. Okay, but what am I saying is, in db init, did I do anything in db init? No. Okay, no worries. This is okay. And how it did work is like, if you see, if I go to the routes, so here are the routes, right? I have segmented it into two classes. One is category resource and another one is category specific. So wherever I need and endpoint where I need the ID, like the path variable, I have kept those in category specific and the rest are in category resource. Okay. If you see in resource, I have post and get, and this too could be like post again. Whenever you are adding a category or building a category, again, it is allowed to admin only. So in that time, do you need the category ID? No, it would be generated in a later stage whenever the category is being created, right? So that therefore I kept it in the category resource. And from the user side, what things do I need is the name and description, and rest of the things will be added automatically. Now you will say that or if you remember, I added a thing that is created by. Okay, how this created by will be populated? Created by, I want the user ID. So if you see over here, what am I doing? Even I am adding a check that if the current, like I have added that over here, key roles accepted. I could have skipped this, but why did I do it in this way is because I had a 3 user app previous. Again, it's an API, reused API. And in that case, I was building it with a 3 user format, right? But as of now, at least for this app, I only have 2 roles. Okay. So that is why it's like in this format, and I can skip this part. So I'll just remove it. Okay. And from here, what am I doing? I'm just adding the name, description, and keeping the status to be true. Created time, like created at whatever time you are supplying. Like if I am supplying anything, then it is fine. Else, it would be taken from here. Okay, by the default thing. After that, there is the current user. Now, sorry, created by. If you see over here, current user. If you like, I don't clearly remember if I have said anything about the current user or not. It's like a similar, like it's a object that you can like get from Flash security, and it's like something like it would be populated with whatever user field, like user data that you have. User data as in, let me do one thing. Do I have anything like that? Okay. Yes, in here. For example, what am I doing? In here, I'm just finding the user, right? Finding the user with that specific email address. And I could have done something like this. If user equals to, matlab, I could have called it into a variable. And in that variable, what are the things that I could have? I could have all the user attributes, right? For example, if I do it, where can I find it? Ah, in the login endpoint. Okay. If you check the login endpoint, what am I doing? I'm just querying the user from here, right? After that, if the user was not found and stuff, then I'm seeing that if the user attribute, like the active attribute for a user is yes or not, then I'm proceeding further. Then user dot password, user dot ID, user dot email, user dot roles, and whatever it is, then like however it is, like roles 0, like finding first role, like as in if you see that user dot roles, then it would list you the like it would give you a list. Okay, so that is why I kept it as 0. Then the thing. Okay. Next thing is user dot get authentication token and stuff. Now, why am I saying all this right now? Is that if you see this current user, so what am I doing? It's the same thing as this user. That is this user. Okay. So how we like you will say in that how we were finding that user and stuff. That is because of this token. That is, these two decorators are allow like it is allowing only if a valid token is being generated, right? Like is being passed, then only it would be responding back. The same idea is implemented over here. The token is being used to find the user, and from that I'm populating this. Like from that, it like flash security is populating current user. Okay, and current user is having all the attributes and everything that is for that user data store that find user. Okay, everything. Okay, so that is why I wrote current user dot id, and finally saving it. Okay, next thing I'm making a response that yes, it was generated successfully. Right, let's give it a try. So what I want to do is everything was fine, and I need to update the model. So for that, what I have to do is I just need to run db init. The newer tables were added. Okay, let me say something. Like I am extending the session a bit, but not much. As early as I could finish it off, I would just close on the session. Okay, so I want you guys to stay back for a bit. So you can see that the category table was added, and there is the product table. Fine, those two tables were added. Next thing, what I say is that let's give it a try. There's the post request. Next thing is the get request. So what are we doing in the get request? Basically, I'm just using the category table, the category class, as in Python class that I'm getting from the model file, and I'm calling this get all method. So what's that get all method? Get all method is basically querying out the total table. If there is category is found, then it is like returning me a list. Else it is returning me a string. Okay. Now, did I showcase that? Yes. If you remember in app.py, I have that uh, query data, right? And what was the query data doing? Query data was basically appending each row as like change. Firstly, I'm changing it into a JSON object or as per the JSON format. Then I'm adding it to a list, and finally I was returning that list, right? DB data. The same idea is implemented over here too. Okay. So I got all the data into this variable in this data. Then what am I doing? I'm checking if data is that string, and if the string is matching, then I'm responding with something else. Else I'm responding with this key. There's a message, get all categories, and here's the response. Okay, similar to that, I had the category specific endpoints or category specific APIs, and it starts with a get. So how would you like, what would you say is like, what's the difference in between these two? That is because what I am planning to do is will be having two get methods. Okay, one get method will be querying out the total table, and another one will be querying out only and only that specific row. Okay, so that is why I have this, and you can go through it. Basically, in here I'm not returning a list, rather I'm returning a JSON object. Right. Next thing is put. Put is like updating that category, and finally delete. Now, how is this delete different? Is because in here, what am I doing? I'm just querying the category with the specific ID. Next thing, I'm just changing the delete attribute for that category to be either true or false. Okay, and I haven't done it, so I will just go ahead and do it. So it's like I'm just like it's like one way thing. So I rather I don't want it to be a single way thing. Rather, I want to have it as a switch. Okay. So if categories dot delete, then what I want is categories dot delete will be false. Right? Else this category got delete to be true. Fine. And finally saving the changes. Now let's give it a try. And okay, let's not like I'll be adding the code. Okay, you can give it a try from your end with the Postman and all, but I'm just going ahead with the front end. Okay, so in here, what I want to do is in this home view, I just don't want this to be shown. Okay. At least the image will stay. So what would happen right now is I'll just go back, and if you see, this is the home page. Okay, and it's empty. Next thing, I want to do two things. I have left that. That is, if you see or if you remember from the inspect window, I can go to the local storage, and from here I can find the authentication token. Right now, with this, I can do the thing that I was thinking about. That is, if you remember, there was a created one part, right? So in created, I want to do something more. So whenever created is like whenever I am coming to this created one part, I want to do something more. That is, let me do this key. I have data. Done. Here and have token variable. When I set as empty or null. And in created, what I want to do, whenever this page is getting created, it should fetch the token from the local storage. Okay, local storage dot get item. And what's the key? The key is auth token. Okay. Save this like, give it a try. Okay. And it is not working because of some error. That's not an issue. That is this dot token. Refresh, and it's working fine as of now. I can print it over here too. This dot token just to verify. Okay, I got the token. Fine. Next thing, what I got the token, but I want to protect this page. What if I don't have a token? In that case, it would be like an if condition. If this dot token equals to either empty or this dot token is null, in that case I would allow, or if this is the situation, what would I do? I would say this dot router, it would redirect me to the login page. Dot push to where? Push to name login. Okay. Then there, I want to do one more check. Okay. That is, if that is the case for the token, and even I want to see the role. Okay. So in that case, what can I say is that it's protected, it's authenticated, the page is authenticated, and even it is RBAC implemented. Okay. For example, I want the home page only to available to the admin user. The similar idea, let's just say user role. Okay. And it would be populated. Now, what am I saying? If this dot role is not equals to admin, in that case, what would I do is again, I would just redirect to login. But not only just login, I would just log out the user from. So that is localhost dot clear. Okay. So at least from the front end perspective, as of now, I'm keeping it to be like I'm not making an extensive login or logout method. Not login, but not an extensive logout method. But what I want, I'll just clear off the local storage. Okay, and the same is happening for this too. For example, for this part, right? Firstly, I'm just clearing out the local storage and redirecting to the login page. Like if a user is trying to access something, but he's not allowed to. Okay. See, I came to the login page. Right. Now let's log in with a user. Let me clear out the local storage as of now, and let's give it a try. So admin at the rate abc.com and admin login. Hey, why is login not working? Backend server not. Login. I got redirected to this page. Right. Now I would just manually delete it because I haven't made a login method, and I would just give it a refresh. You can see it got redirected to the login page. Now, if I am trying to go to the login page, it won't allow me. Even if I do it manually, still it won't be allowed. Okay. Now, let me try it with a user address. Okay. User at abc.com, user 4, login. See, so what happened? You can see that it's like the fields were emptied out, but nothing came in this local storage. That is because how I have set the login page. Okay. Login method. There's some error in here. That is, after everything is set, it is just directly going to the home page. But do I want that? It is only being allowed, and what is happening whenever it is getting redirected. So for the time being, the data were stored in the local storage. Okay. Next thing, in the next moment, it got redirected to the home page. And whenever the home page is getting created, what happened? Whenever it came over here, firstly, it successfully it passed this check, the token check, and after that, whenever it was doing the role check, it found that the user role was not admin. So that is why it cleared out the token and it redirected me again to the login page. Okay, so I have to manage this check. So how can I do it? Is adding a check over here. So if um, what response dot data dot user role is equals to admin. In that case only, I would redirect it to the home page. Else, I don't have a user uh, dashboard as of now. So what I do is, in the else part, what I want is, I want to redirect him, like redirect a normal user to the about page. Okay. Let's give it a try. Now, in here, I try with user 4 at the rate abc.com, user 4, login. And if you see, I came to the about page. Now, what if I go to the home page? Home page is only being allowed to a logged in user, and that logged in user should be our admin. Okay. So I would click home, and you can see the local storage was emptied out, and I came to the login page. I can add one more thing, one more alert, that is in here, key alert accessing restricted pages not allowed. Okay. Something like that. Let's give it a try again. User 4 at the rate abc.com. user 4. Okay, helped us log in, came to the about page, and whenever I'm going to the home page, it is like accessing a restricted page. Okay, what spelling did I go to? Okay, no worries. Restricted page is not allowed. Okay, whenever I click OK, it will just redirect over here, or even if I cancel it. Okay, okay, so I don't have cancel because I have used alert. Okay, so from here it is like emptied out. Now if I try admin, it would be allowed. Admin, let me see. Login. I came to the home page. In here, what I want to do, I want to populate it. Populate it with what? With the data that I am having. That is in here in this data. After that, I want to declare a method. Methods that's like get category data. Okay. Now what it is doing is it is using Axios, and to use Axios I need to import it. So import Axios from Axios. So it's like Axios dot get. So where am I getting it from? I'm getting it from HTTP localhost 5000 slash API slash categories or slash category. Okay. Now there is something more. Okay. Let's keep the 10 blocks. If the in response, what am I doing? As of now, I'm just console logging the response. Okay. And the same thing is done for catch 2. Now let's try. What do you expect? Currently, there won't be a thing. That is because if you see what I want, whenever the page is getting created, after these checks are done and verified, I want to call this method. So this dot, what was the name? Get category data. Okay. I want to call this method. Now, if I give it a try, you can see it from the terminal, either from the console or from network. What is happening? If I refresh it, you can see the page is getting loaded, and in here category, it's like saying 104 unauthorized. That is because I need the token. I need to supply the token. How can I do it? Is from here in the get part. So here's the endpoint. After that, I would add a comma, start of a curly bracket. In here, I just write headers, then again start off a curly bracket. In here, I would add authorization, and this authorization is getting populated by what? This dot token. Okay, save it and give it a try again. Create the console log and give it a try again. So in here, you can see it still is saying 404. But as of now, it is getting, it is not like it is not going to 401 or 403. So 401 is like you are not authorized, and 403 is you are not allowed. That is role based all the thing. Right? But I am seeing 404, and that is because I have added it in that way. I don't have any categories to be shown over here, so that is why I am seeing that 404. But if we see this response dot data, in that case you can check that out. If I am in the console, okay, it won't be going to response dot data because I am returning 404. So it's like an error dot response dot data. Okay. I can see that it's saying messages no category was found. Now let's see how can I do it, and how will I be creating the dashboard. Okay, So what I want is I would be populating the dashboard through a, like, there could be multiple things. You can have cards, you can have components, and so many other ways you can create a dashboard. But I am keeping it as simple as it could be again. So it's like, and I'm using that table tag from the HTML template, like from HTML, right? And we'll be populating that. So within table, I have the table head, and the keys are what? ID. We keep the model over here. Then there is name, description, status, created at, updated at, delete. Okay. Now let's try. So is the name, description, status, created by, updated by, created at, updated at, and finally delete. And in here, in this process, in table body, what I want to do is I will be running a for loop. But before that, I don't have anything over here. Like I don't have any data. So what would I do is I would add a V. Well, there is something more. Wait. Uh, there is category, categories, and it's empty. And I'm saying V if this dot categories. Then only I would show the table. Else it won't be shown. Save this and refresh. You can say that there's nothing. Okay. Now in here, what I want to do is I want to show a div, and this div will be classed as mm, no category. Okay. And here I need to show this message that is a p tag that says no categories available. And after that, I just want to have a button that says add the first category. Okay. No categories available, add the first category. Now, what I want, whenever I click on this button, it should redirect me to category, like a form that would be adding the categories. So in here, I can rather, instead of, I can create a directory, category directory, and in here, what I want is a create file, create.view from template. Okay, let me do one. Ajay, I would ask you to stay a bit longer. I would be ending the session as early as it could.
I mean, are we looking at a few minutes or half an hour?
Not an half an hour thing, but okay, let's do one thing. Let's call it a day over here, right? Because
Okay.
I want to showcase something, and just to explain it, it would require me 20 more minutes. So that would be a
Uh,
complete.
I mean, if it, like, I could stay, but I mean, if it wraps up a topic and
No,
clears
if
another
you are
milestone
free,
one.
then it's fine. Or else, if you are not free, then I would just
No,
call it.
let's do it. Let's wrap it up. That's okay.
Okay.
Let's do it. Continue.
Okay. Okay. So, and right now, let me just pace off, and I would just create this page where I can uh, create a category, and by reusing this, I could create, like, I would just use it to update a field, update a category, and I would just populate the dashboard. This is all what I want to do, at least for the front end, nothing more. Anything more would be covered the other day. That would be the search for the function. Okay, I would check that out. Anyways, so what I want is that clear it. Uh, it's up. So template, right? It's the diff time. For instance, what create category. Okay. And what do I need for create category is like I need the category name, okay, and I need the description. That would be one. And anything more will be auto added by the API. And in the button, what am I doing? I'm just calling it. So we on click this dot post or add category. Now let's see. In the script part, no maximus. That's the thing. So category description. See again, you can give it in this way too. You can declare the data fields in this way. Like basically, I have one data field that is category, and within category, I have two keys, like name and description. That is possible. So HTTP local host 5000, and it is category. Yeah, category only. So this is create field. Okay. And everything, if everything was fine, if response or status is 201, then I would say that a category was created successfully, and I would just redirect to home. Okay. If there is an error, then I would just on console log the error rather and showcase it as an alert. And this won't work. That is because it is it is protected, right? So until and unless I add the token, it won't pass through. So what do they do is, so that's the body, and after that, here's the header. Okay. Header is authorization. This dot token. I'm not using this token. And that would only work if I declare it. So token, right? And whenever the page is getting created, I will do the checks again. Okay. API category, token. Sure, okay, it's fine. We're good to go. Now let's see if we can see this. So what I have to do, I have to declare a endpoint for that. This way, key path is category slash create. Okay, this category create, and it's coming from here. Yeah, that's fine. Category create, right? So just go back to the home view, and in this button, what I want is V on click this dot router dot push it to where, push it to name create category. Okay, let's try that. So if I click it over here, it is not working. Okay, it didn't get restart because I didn't restart the servers. Okay, starts like open into terminal. So that's the backend side, and there's the front end side. So Python app.py and here npm browser. And refresh the page and give it a try. Now if I click on this button, you must log in to create a category. Okay, you don't have permission. I'm in the home page. Why am I allowed the home page? That is because in the local storage I have this. Oh my bad. I'll clear it out. And in create, that is because this stored. Okay, so this is because of this user role. Completely fine. I won't be allowed. So now admin@abc.com, admin, login. If I click it over here, you must be logged in to create a category. You must be logged in. Token. Oh, this is auto token. My bad. Auto token. Right. If I go to home and click it over here, I can be refresh, and this looks good. So the other thing is refresh. Okay, I can add a category from here. Now, how can I add a category? Is it a category? It's a post request, and we're passing it, and let's give it a try. Okay. So category name could be fruit plus from the farms. Okay. Create a category. I got redirected over here. Do I want that? No. Why did I came over here? That is something happened. Let's check the console is not having anything, but let's check the backend terminal. It did get a post request and something happened for 01 and stuff. Okay. Most probably it won't, like it was not added. Okay. So let's give it a check. The category table is empty as of now. Okay, it didn't work. Okay. Now we'll be checking the network logs. So fruit, fresh from farm, street category, and something happened. create 304 not modified. Okay, that is because of this statement error. Most probably that I was adding it correctly though, but it is not working. That's weird. Oh yeah, here it is. It was created. Payload was this, and what was the response? There was no response. 201. Still there is no response. Something happened. No worries, you can give it a check. So category was added, but in the API there is some error, I guess. Let's give it a fix. See, return was okay. It should have returned that. Hmm. Let's give it one more try. Okay. So why is this happening? This is happening because of a small error. See, what did I do? I added this. I added it through a form, right? And form is like whenever you click a button within the form, the browser would go ahead and refresh the page. So that is why it's happening in that way. And even the question mark that came after create, if you remember from the network log. So in header, this was after create, it added a question mark because of that default action from the browser. Right? Now I added it like outside the button. Else, what you can do, you can add a prevent to prevent default. Okay? Else, totally we can remove the form and add it through a div because I don't need a form. I am using the script to send the data. Right? Anyway, save it and give it a try again. For example, vegetables fresh from the fields. Now, if I try create category, category was created successfully, and I got redirected. Okay. I came over here. Now the thing is that there was category get, okay, but I didn't get a category. Did I get a category? Yes, I got a category. Still, it is showing this. Okay. Rather, I want to see the table. Okay. Why is that not shown? We'll have a look to this. So categories. Plus no category. That is because I didn't add a VF over here. VF. If there is nothing within this category, then only I would show this. Else, I would showcase the table. Okay. And why is the table not visible? Categories is empty. Because I am not populating the categories. I have to populate it over. Okay. I didn't do it. My bad. So this dot categories is response dot data. And what am I responding with? So it's category dot by. It is added to category data. Okay. So within data, I will find category data. Give it a try. Now it's gone. And the table came back. Okay. And how to populate the table is like in the table body, there would be table rows, right? And I would be using a for loop over. So V for category in categories. Category there, but no, it won't work. Save this and give it a try. So for the time being, it is like shown that no categories was found. What I can do is like till the point where it is not shown, it could be have like it could show that there is like loading and stuff. Okay, that also could be done, or else you can give it a animation that yes, it is loading. That is also possible. But anyways, you can see that I have two categories. It is being printed out, created by, updated by is empty, created at, updated at is empty, and delete is showcasing the button, but I want to showcase whatever data that is coming from, like passing through. So category dot delete. Let's save it, refresh it, and it's showing as false. Now what I want to have two more things, that is actions. And what is that? That is basically two buttons. Now, how it will be done is, I'm coming to that in a moment. Just overlook this as of now. But in here, let me create the delete method first. Like I would create a delete method. So this dot category delete, and I will be passing the ID from. Okay. Right. Now, how it will be done is like similar to get category data, and be having category delete. Right. And I'm confirming if I'm sure to delete this category or not. If I'm sure, then what am I doing? I'm sending a request to delete, like to localhost API category. Then after that, I'm adding the ID. And how the ID is being passed? ID is being passed from here because I am passing the ID through here. This method call. Okay. After that, I'm like adding the token and stuff. And if it is successful, then what am I doing? Category deleted successfully and stuff. And after that, I'm just refreshing the page. Rather not refreshing the page, rather updating the data. Okay. Else there, if there is something like alerting that failed to delete category and stuff. Okay. So let's try it. Refresh. That is because hmm, you can see that it is there. Like, what if I want to delete vegetables? If I click delete, it is confirming. Okay, okay, failed to delete category because something happened. Okay. Refresh. Okay, so it didn't work. Let's see. If I click delete, it is different. Okay. And it says undefined cause error. Cause error. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It is undefined because of the ID. I am passing ID, but it should be category.id. Okay, right. Category.id. Refresh again and clear up the network console. And I don't need the network console as of now. If I click cancel, it won't be deleted, but I want to delete vegetables. Okay, and delete. Yes, category successfully, and you can see that it became true, right? Okay. Now if I press again, delete again, then it would showcase a different thing. But even I want to see it in this way. Let me use a span. See if category dot delete. equals to true, sorry, false, then only I would show delete. Span vls. I want to show restore. Okay, LIC. I'm just seeing restore for both, not capital, small. Yeah, now it's fine. Delete and restore, right? If I click on restore, in that case, I have to do some more changes. Okay, anyways, you're getting my point, right? I could have added the alerts accordingly, but it is working. And finally, just for today, I just want to showcase this edit page. And how can I do it? I would be using this create page again. Paste, and let me change it to update. What I want in this update is update a category. Right? Category name is everything is there. Everything stays same as it was. And this one is update category. Now let's see what are the change that I want. Edit category. And this is update category. Category and stuff should be there. Everything is same. This is edit category, and there would be one more method that I'm confirm. That is, what I want is I want to see this page, but similar to the create page, it will be empty, right? One way is to populate is like whenever I click on this edit button, it would redirect me to that page. And from the front end only, I would take the name and the description of the category. Okay. Rather, I do not want to do it. What I want to, whenever the page is getting created, I want the data to come in from the backend side. Okay. So what I do is like I call a method that is get category, and it's like doing a post category from it. Uh, and I'm coming to this in a moment, but category ID, okay. Authorization and everything is there. Category data, okay. This dot category. I need the category. Oh, the category is already there, so category will be populated, right, with the category data, and category data will be having ঠিক আছে এখন আর ইয়ে করো না। So what I was saying is like whenever a request is made, the data will be added through, right? Now let's see. So category, and if I am covering it out, so I have what JSON serialize will be having so many things. Okay, let's see, let's give it a try. But before that, I want to cover one more thing, that is how am I getting this ID. Okay, and this what is this about, this dot route dot params dot id, and showcase that from here. So whenever I am declaring an endpoint or the address for that page, it's like category update slash ID. Okay. This ID I am talking about. Name is like category update. Okay. Finally, the component is the same as this one, similar as this one. It would be update, right? Let's refresh, and it is category update. First, now what did I say? That it's like a path variable similar to the backend style. Okay, it's the same. Now, what am I saying? Whenever I am redirecting or whenever I am going to that location, what it would do is see router dot push is there, and in name I'm writing category update, right? And after that, I am adding a param field. Okay, param. In here, within params, I am declaring ID, and how is that ID being populated? ID is being populated from here, category.id. Okay. Now, if I click edit, you can see that it is redirected to this location. But as of now, category name and description are empty. No worries, we can fill that up. That is in here. What would I do is category dot what's that name, right? So name category data dot name. So to that there would be the description. Yes, it should have been populated, but it is not working. That is not what I expected to. Okay, it is doing a get request, but where is that get request? Oh, it is not doing a get request. That is because I am not adding. I haven't added it to the created field. In here, I check if this dot category ID, then only I would call the get category method. Okay, get category. Else, I would just alert that there was a problem. Else, wait, save it and give it a try. Refresh. Category ID is not different. Category ID is not different. Oh, this is this dot category. Refresh again and it's data, not category data. Data dot data. Let's change it to category data so that it is in a similar idea. First, it is there. Fruit and fresh from farm. See, I wrote it wrong, so I would change it to fresh. And if I click update category, then what should it do? It should be a put request, right? Put request to where? Put request to this. And put request will again be containing that token, that JSON object, similar to the previous idea. And everything is same, just that category created successful was updated successful. Refresh again. Press update category. Updated successfully. Okay. And here's the thing. First one. Okay. This is how we'll be creating the thing. I'm calling it a day right now. Like any session over here. Anything more will be like covered the next day.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for
Uh,
attending. Yep.
no,
Yes.
thank you. Okay. Can I, before you leave, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, of course, of course. Like I'm
this is
like
not,
not sharing anything. Yeah.
yeah, and just in the
Hmm.
interest of time, I mean, it's already 15th of July and the deadline is 30th. Can you please
Hmm.
share how many sessions are planned? So we are at day 4. How many more
And day
sessions
five,
are?
one more day.
Yeah, day 5 is planned for day after tomorrow.
Yes.
Is that the last session
Uh,
or there are more to go?
yes, that would be the last session. Yes.
Day 5 is the last session. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you. I'll see you
Thanks.
on Thursday then. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thursday. Thanks. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for attending. Staying back.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.